Welcome to starlilytarot, Aries. What's up? You know, I gotta talk a little bit of shit at the right at the beginning of this video. I just gotta get it out of the way. When I was younger, I heard a lot of people call people ugly, and I thought calling somebody ugly is kind of an ugly thing to do. But you know, the older I get, the more it's like, these bitches motherfucking walking around looking like the wicked motherfucking stepsisters from Cinderella with an attitude to match. Like, bitch, I didn't make your face. Don't take it out on me. And you know, it's like, they probably wouldn't be so fucking ugly if they weren't so fucking ugly on the inside. It's still hard for me to call people ugly because I still feel like it's an ugly thing to do. But it's like, you know, people just like, you know, they just got like, they're just ugly. It's like they're just ugly. Ugly from inside and out. And it ain't like that, you know, of course, with everybody. Because, you know, so I had an experience with a really sweet lady today who was a little bit more like Cinderella. Because she always be busting her ass, have to deal with a bunch of fucking bitches. And a bitch who was just like the evil stepsister from Cinderella. All snarly and shit. Sorry, this earring, it's not working out. So, shit talking is over. I just had to get that out of my system. You're Aries, so I highly doubt that you're gonna mind. Aries can shit talk with the best of them, honey. Let's clear the energy. Alright, so this is a new series that I started yesterday, and it's kind of interesting. It's called How to Say Goodbye. And so I think it's because there's a lot of people right now, well, there's a major energy right now of endings and new beginnings, and there's a group of people who are having a hard time letting go and moving on. I had some other ideas for some other series I wanted to start this time, but Spirit was very adamant that I was to do this one. So as I cut your decks, you just let me do that. The Morgan Greer deck, with the Morgan Greer deck, we have the King of Pentacles on the top of the deck, and with the Oracle deck that I created myself, we have childhood trauma. So that's an interesting combination of energy there. So far I have found these readings to be pretty interesting. One more shuffle. I hope the lighting is okay. It's still pretty early, and it's still pretty sunny, but I know there's a little bit of a shadow, so. Okay, here we go. How to say goodbye. Two of Pentacles. Hierophant and the Four of Swords in reverse with the Emperor in reverse on the bottom of the deck. So that is Aries energy there. How to say goodbye. I guess it's a sticky situation. Because I just washed and cleaned everything, and there's still a little spot here that's sticky that my hand caught. It's from breakfast, fruit or something. So, let's see what we have here. Two of Pentacles. The Hierophant. Four of Swords in reverse. You notice the swords are facing the same direction. It's like... And it's also not very good considering these swords are facing the direction of these people, like they're being impaled, sort of. And the swords represent thoughts, so it's like getting out of your head is what I'm feeling with this. Because I feel that the Two of Pentacles is, of course, it's the back and forth, but I feel in this case that it has a lot to do with thoughts. Going back and forth with maybe two decisions, or maybe back and forth between two different people, maybe a Taurus and an Aries, because the Hierophant is a card of Taurus. Or it could be going back and forth between tradition and like what you feel that you're supposed to do and what you actually want to do. Because we have the Two Pentacles here, and we also have the Two Keys here. How to say goodbye. I feel like this has a lot to do with coexisting. Like, this is energy of feeling like a decision needs to be made. Like, one thing has to be chosen over another. Like, it either has to be traditional or non-traditional. It has to be one person or another person. It has to be one path or another path. Or maybe somebody is split inside of them. And with the Four of Swords in reverse, I feel like it's somebody, this is like conflicting energy. It's like somebody who's in their mind, but they're not in their mind. Like, they're not fully resting. They're not fully seeing the picture, because they're just kind of staying at that surface where it's like, it could be this, or it could be that. It could be this, or it could be that. But when the Four of Swords is upright, it's like fully surrendering into your fullness. Like, fully resting gives you a chance to be complete, to be whole, to integrate like all of this into every part of you, but it's in reverse. So it's like this is being avoided. So maybe it's not so much about it has to be one thing or another, or whatever this is about. Maybe it's more about like merging the different aspects of yourself together to be both things, or all of those things. Like, if it's a choice between two people, maybe you're supposed to date them both and not just choose one. If it's two different careers, maybe you're supposed to do both things, not just one. Maybe in this case, goodbye is really hello. But if there is something here that needs to be walked away from, it could be maybe a divorce, since the Hierophant is here. It's a card of contracts, marriage. It looks like the advice to get to that point where you can actually let go of the marriage or whatever this is. The advice is to rest, because this is in reverse, and the Emperor is coming up in reverse. So if these were both flipped over, it would be the Emperor resting to get to this stage of power, and right underneath that is the Four of Wands. So somebody maybe is working too much to avoid this period of rest, because they know that something has to end and they're being called to move forward. Like, if you're being called to move away from, say, a Taurus to an Aries, it could even be that, or move away from an Aries to a Taurus, or really the sign doesn't matter. But if you're being called to move away from one person to another, it looks like this person, which is probably you, or the person that you're dealing with, feels really bound to tradition. But there's still this other path, this other choice, and it's not going away. It feels like the harder that they hold on to this traditional belief, way of life, the harder that they hold on to it, thinking that it's going to make this other choice disappear, it just makes this other choice stand out with more contrast. And it causes this person to be really like out of balance, because they just want to embrace this other choice. They want to go towards this other choice. It's like somebody has two and they're trying to just keep one on the back burner, hoping that either it'll go away or they could just kind of keep it there for later. But it's not going away, and I don't feel that that is the way that this is supposed to happen, because this is a reading about how to say goodbye. So I feel very strongly that the advice here is, instead of feeling that you need to make a hard choice from one thing to another, that you're supposed to actually be embracing both things more fully. So, like I said, if you're like married to someone, but spirit is pulling you to another person, maybe your advice is to have a conversation with that person that you're married to and say, I'm in love with somebody else. And I don't know if I want to leave you, but I need to tell you the truth. And if you want to stay married to me while I see why I'm being so drawn to this other person, if you guys are both cool with that, we can do it that way. See, that's very unconventional. That's very non-traditional. That's a very non-traditional stance. But that's what I'm feeling is the message here. It's like you're being drawn towards whatever this other thing is for a reason. And I feel like this person is being held in place and not making a move because they feel like they have to make a hard decision, one thing or another, and they can't do it. And it could be making this person sick. You know, Four of Swords, whether it's up or down, can denote illness. And the Two of Pentacles, this person could be really like making themselves a bit crazy over this, because the Two of Pentacles is like constantly being stuck in your mind and your emotions going up and down and turning somebody a bit bipolar because they just can't seem to make a decision, and they can't make either thing fully go away, but they don't know which one to choose. And that's probably why the Emperor is in reverse, which represents Aries. Because if the Emperor is in his mind this much, if it's affecting him this much, he's not going to be able to be in his full power. The Emperor in his full power has a clear mind. So this could really be affecting this person's ability to work, ability to feel healthy, ability to feel like rooted and in control of his environment. I'm also getting that would also be very helpful to pay more attention to your dreams, that there may be also some answers in your dreams, or you may be already getting answers in your dreams, but you're ignoring them. Clearing generational karma tried to pop out there. And I just want to say, this whole reading, I'm getting this overall energy of not feeling like very comfortable in my own skin. So maybe somebody here is really nervous about being seen by someone. This could be like a low-key, like secret admirer energy. Like somebody is nervous about actually being, like somebody knowing. Yeah, that's really interesting. As I'm saying that, the card with the masks came out. You're being a major drama queen. So it's like maybe somebody is hiding how they really feel. And your reward is coming soon. So, take several seats. That came into my mind. This is Spirit here. bringing something new into your life. And what I'm feeling is like Spirit, like, okay, here, it's like this person is already aware that there's something else coming into their life. And this is related to that, but I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words. I'm sorry. I can see it in my mind, and it's hard for me to find the actual words. It's like I can see the energy of it, like there's this thing and there's this thing. And some of the threads of the energy of this thing is in this thing, but this thing is something new. I'm so sorry. I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out how to put that into words. But maybe it's just that Spirit is trying to help you move away from something so that you can actually fully receive this. Being stuck in this really shallow back and forth energy here where somebody is not fully going like deep into something. I feel like this is an awful reading. I hope this is even making sense. It feels like it's really difficult to explain this one for me. Spirit has something to give you. But Spirit has to get you in a certain mindset, like a place of full surrender, before it can actually come in. And what is going to be coming through for you is different than what you think it's going to be. If you think it's going to be anything, if you have any sort of preconceived notion, I feel like you know that something's coming and you just expect for it to be something that you already know, like a person that you already know or a career that you already know. Like, I feel like there's different choices that you have around you, and you think that Spirit is attempting to give you one of those things. But what Spirit is actually trying to give you is completely different than these things. But at the same time, it has like a hint of energy of one of these things. I really hope that makes sense. Because that makes sense to me, but I don't know if that's going to make sense to anybody else. And so Spirit is saying, just be completely open with your feelings. I feel like somebody is trying to avoid being a drama queen. So they're putting these masks on and they're trying to hide how they truly feel. But Spirit is saying, don't do that. Just be yourself fully, no matter what that might look like. Because we also, again, we have the Emperor in reverse. So it's like the Emperor is not being his true self. And that's the Aries energy. And maybe somebody here has went through some things and it's caused somebody to not feel like their self anymore. And so possibly this person is judging themselves really harshly. On the bottom of the deck for this other deck we have, it's not a war. So this is like the Two of Swords energy here. But the heart is shining. The heart's shining out there. So this is, there's more pink roses. So the pink roses represent unconditional love. So It's like somebody's holding themselves back, kind of like in that shallow area, like I mentioned earlier, holding themselves in a place where they're sort of untouchable. But at the same time, something is growing within them, like their heart is growing, they're blooming, but at the same time they're in a defensive state, which is not a whole lot different than this, because it's still blocking this heart chakra here. Underneath that we have reflection 222, so that's a twin flame card. So to recap, the advice here is to do your best to just relax and get into like maybe meditate more, or try to stay in a state of rest where you're really just fully resting and you're relaxed, if you can get there. And don't be too hard on yourself. Like, if you feel that you have been living your life in a particular construct, like, I have to do things a certain way, like I have to do things like this or else, kind of like that, maybe judging yourself, or feeling like you have to stay married or keep a particular job or behave a particular way in public, or you have to dress a certain way, or choose a certain type of life partner, choose a particular career. The advice is to try to like relax and let that go a little bit. Like, try to not focus so much on the chains of tradition that you're attached to. And like, you're not, Spirit's also saying you're not responsible for everybody. It's okay for you to just make sure that you're okay. You don't have to take on like the battles of the world, because the Emperor is in reverse here. And Spirit is also saying that if you have something that you've been wanting to share with someone, then you should do that. I hope that made sense. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, you can reach me at starlilytarot@gmail.com. Thank you for liking the video, for sharing it, and for subscribing and ringing the bell, and for your comments. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.